So before we get into anything, you already know, got to start off with something to drink. You cool with shot? Shot. All right. Big or little? Don't be scared.
Whatever you taking.
Okay. A lot of people like to drink with me, but
we gonna match.
All right.
We gonna match it.
I'm just saying, it might be your funeral, but you know.
Hey man, I've been to
not a lot of people can drink with me.
I've been to a lot of funerals. They just wasn't mine, so we thankful, you know.
Got you chaser too. Cheers. You hear my voice, so you already know what fucking time it is. Sorry if I offend you, podcast. We back at you another week, another guest, and more shit to talk. So today I have with me, I won't say his government, but you know, he go by Truth. No investor, his motherfucking self. So if you want to say what up, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Good people. I go by Dope Truth, a.k.a. Big Zoe, you know, a.k.a. Mr. No Investor. Let's get it.
All right, so we spoke off camera, and I told you I knew your name. Right. I heard about you. You popular. You out here. You famous. But how did you start?
Let's take it back to the beginning. It all came from my mother. My mother's a single mom, like a lot of other people's moms, and I'm Haitian, so she's Haitian as well. So it's like I seen her struggle. I seen her like get everything by herself. So it's like I grew up thinking like nobody gave you nothing. So it's like I never had that in my head that somebody was gonna give me something. So like I'm blessed for that. So I just always knew like, yo, I gotta get it. So if I need something, I gotta go get it. Like you have nobody to ask. Like
I come from a single mother household too, so that's how I am. And every time I talk to people, I'm like, it's cool, I got it. You ain't gotta worry about it. Cause I'll ask somebody once. I'm not gonna ask you twice. If I have to ask you twice, I feel like it's too close to begging. And I really feel like it's crazy. Anybody that I know that comes from a single mother household has that same outlook.
Exactly.
Like, you just got to get it and figure it out.
Yeah, it's pros and cons to it, but it's like the pros is great. Like, it's good pros.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it's like you'll never, like, what's crazy with me is like, a lot of people will tell you like, they feel like if they ask, it's like begging.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't have anybody to ask. So it's like, I didn't have anybody to beg, like, if I wanted to beg.
Mm-hmm.
It really was like, am I going to ask my mom when I already know, like, damn, the lights was cut off for like 6 hours. Like she got it back on, but they cut off for 6 hours. You got me? They cut off for a day.
Right.
So it's like I'm not gonna ask her because I want to do this and that. It's like it don't make sense. You got me? So it's like that's what really like molded me into like the person I am today.
So what was your first job? Because there's always a bad one. If I would tell you my first job, be honest, because I'm gonna tell you my first job. But
okay. My first job where I actually got like a real check, it wasn't too bad. I used to it used to be like a neighborhood recreation center or whatever like that, and I used to like do the scoreboard at the basketball games for the little kids before I played.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't too bad. It was like minimum wage at the time, like $7.50 an hour. That was really my first job. It was just like, you know, the neighborhood trying to like keep
keep everybody not
exactly. So
not
like,
on the street.
You wanna do the shot clock for these little kids? Like they playing like 12-minute games. Like take the score. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You know, it wasn't big checks. It was like $50. That was like my first job at like 16, I think.
At 16, honestly, I mean, now 16-year-olds, I don't think $50 is a lot of money. But to me, like, okay, so my first job, and don't laugh and don't say shit, I worked at McDonald's. I did. Okay. Proudly, honestly.
That's not a bad first job because that's a corporation.
Listen.
People don't get it. Like, McDonald's ain't going nowhere.
At all. I walked in, I'm telling you.
Go, but they not going nowhere, so you don't got to wake up and be like, damn, my job, my company closed down. Like,
never.
Everybody want these corporations or they want to do stocks and all this other shit, but the companies closed down.
They crash. McDonald's will always be there, so ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I was in that bitch. But yeah, I definitely I worked at McDonald's. I did the cashier in the front, and then I did the drive-thru. I don't have the attitude for it. I promise. Like, I don't have the attitude or the patience.
Drive-thru is serious.
Yo.
Because I know if I come through, I don't eat McDonald's, but if I come through a drive-thru, like, yo, I hate the attitude I get through the drive-thru. I'm like, yo, I didn't ask you to work here. I can't give you a tip. You don't have a jar. But check me out. I promise I'm not about to ask you for nothing I didn't ask when I ordered. Like,
right.
Let's just keep it fat. Like, I hate when I don't get what I ordered, like I ordered it late or something. Like, no, like, you asked me what I want, I told you, you told me the price, and I drove forward. Like,
I literally, like, the thing is I think someone, I can't remember, I didn't ever take orders.
Okay.
I just cashed people out, but I was in the front. But you had to deal with the shit that the person, yeah.
Right.
So it's like, all right, cool. I wasn't built for that. So they put me in cashier. So I was like, I bet. But my checks, I was 15 at the time. My checks were like 170. To me, I was like, oh shit, I got $170. I could buy a pair of Jordans, maybe like a T. You could do whatever the fuck you want. And then I was like,
we was wearing like, ain't gonna lie, like how old are you?
15.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying,
how old am I right now?
Yeah. Like, what's your age?
Can you guess? Can you guess?
I don't like guessing. I'm just
Nah, I
saying,
need you to guess.
Around what year you graduated? You can tell
Just
me.
know we're close in age.
Okay, we close in age. So around that time, we wasn't. I mean, niggas was wearing Jordans, but it was cool if you had a pair of Vans. It was cool if you had a pair of Chucks. Like,
I think Vans and Chucks are cooler now. Clean. Don't wear the dirty Vans.
How old you are? Because they had a wave like around like.
Got my Vans on, but they look like sneakers.
It was cool. It was alright. Like you could get away with a quick pair of Chucks. Like I don't Vans. I just said that. A quick pair of Chucks, you can get away with it. Like 08, 09. And then it just came back. So that's why I asked. But like, I feel you. Like you wasn't gonna spend out. I wouldn't spend 170 on them Jordans.
I wasn't spending
my money.
There was no honestly, resellers weren't that big then.
Right.
When I was 15, you were what, 16, 17?
Your size
yeah.
probably wasn't too crazy.
I still wear kid sizes, so it wasn't that crazy. I mean, it started to get crazy, but at that time, it was like I could still walk into a sneaker store and get my size, and I was straight. I didn't have to pay $300-400 off fucking retail. No line, nothing. But yeah, so I definitely saved up my little coins. I got me some Jordans. I got me, I saved up, got me a little outfit, and I was good. I didn't have to pay any bills. I was still in high school, so I didn't have shit to worry about.
Life was great.
I didn't have the outlook at that age to, obviously when I was younger, and I tell a lot of people this too, when you talk to them now, I wish I would have knew what I wanted to do when I was older, when I was younger. So you knew what to invest in your life later, like.
We all wish that, but at the same time, if you really like tap into what you was doing at that time, it's like you really, really tap in, you'll notice like it's certain little things that you gave time to that you didn't realize that that's why you did it.
Right.
You got me? Like it's whatever you're doing now, you did little things of that nature at that time, but you just focused on whatever you thought you were supposed to be doing. Like, you get what I mean by that? It's like, you may be doing something totally different now, but like, as far as like the way you move, the way you carry yourself, we always have like 5 to 10 minutes of that before we know, that's what I'm supposed to be on. That's what I'm supposed to be focusing on.
I think my work ethic kind of spread from me starting to work at a young age. That's what molded me into the person. That's the benefit of when I was younger, working, being in a single mother household. I learned how to be a hard worker. Right. So if I had to get shit done, I'm not afraid to get it done.
Right. And when you work early, it's like, regardless if you have to, if you're not, when you get that first check, if it's $10,
man, that shit feel good.
It feel good, and I can do something and get paid for it. Like, I don't have to ask somebody. Mm-hmm. It's really the people that is like, don't force themselves to work or they don't have to. Then it just, you get, it's like what you grow up on. Like, who you hang around is who you become, and like what you raised on is like, if you always get allowance or you always get money, it's like you expect people to give you money.
Right, you expect a lot of shit.
I go to work, I get a check, or I do this, I get money.
You're going to always want to work to get the money because you think that's normal.
Exactly.
So at what point did you say, I could rap? Like, what point did you say, okay, I can make music, and this is what I want to do?
Okay, my mom, like I told you, she was a hustler. So she had she had a, we call it like a sports bar, a little lounge she had back in the city or whatever like that. And she used to, we Haitian, so it was a Haitian culture. She used to do Haitian nights. And it's like, I'm like, yo, I could throw a party here. Like, why don't throw a party and charge people to come through and like turn up? So then, like, my stepdad at the time was a DJ. Mm-hmm. So he had the turntables in the crib, like, all his shit in the crib. You feel me? So I'm looking at it every day like, damn, I don't want to touch his shit. But then I'm like, I love music at the time. I always was listening to shit. So one day I was like, you know what? I cut his shit on. He was at work. Cut his DJ turntables on. I'm like, I'm on, it wasn't live at the time, obviously. It was like, what is shit called? OVO or Uvo?
Uvu. Yo, I love Uvu.
I'm on Uvu, you feel me? Like, the whole gang's on there. Like,
yo, it's like a chat room.
People. I'm like, yo, I DJ. Like, you feel me? Niggas like, you don't DJ. I'm like, I DJ. I cut the shit on. Like, I know what I'm doing. I think it was a CD. I put a little CD in, whatever like that. I think it was a Lil Wayne CD, like Carter. I can't remember. It was a Lil Wayne CD. So I'm playing it. I don't know how to spin or nothing. So I'm just like,
every
city,
5 minutes.
Everybody's like literally sending, like everybody's texting me like, yo.
That shit fire.
Add me on. I'm like, yo, like I should DJ. So literally, long story short, that same day I finally cut his shit on. It's been there for like years. I never touched his shit. He walks in while I'm touching his shit.
Yeah.
So he walks in and his first reaction is, "You want to learn?" Not like, "Why you touching my shit?" or nothing. My stepdad literally taught me how to DJ real quick, like a couple of those mixes. Now I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get booked. I'm trying to get gigged. I'm like,
let me get some money for this shit.
So
I'm there.
What brought me into music, and then I was like, yo, like playing when you DJ and you play, like you understand the BPMs and you actually drop a song. You're like, yo, I'm tired of hearing the same shit, because like people think I'm playing the same shit, but that's what y'all turn up to.
Right.
At the end of the night, you're like, man, I heard the same songs, but it's like y'all move to them. Like, you got me?
Honestly, that's my biggest beef with DJs. I'd be like, damn, bitch, we heard this song 3 fucking times.
Exactly, and it's what it is like, you got to be a bold DJ to like drop some new shit. You got to have like your name up, or you like,
right.
you know, like, yo, this is what I'm playing. But it's like, that's why they play like a record they already know, like the first 15 seconds you about to be like,
yeah.
Then you be like, oh, I heard it.
We hear
but the first 10 seconds you still turned up real quick, like you got me. So that's the problem with DJs or whatever. But yeah, long story short, I started DJing. I threw a party at my mom's little lounge. Seen everybody come through, turn up. I'm like, yo, I want to make a song so I can like play it here. You got me? So it's like, I'm like, yo, I want to start doing music. Things that I've learned is always like, you just got to be. I learned in the industry, like, it just like, I didn't shit that, you know how you know stuff, but it's like it solidifies it. Like the like being genuine, the loyalty, like staying down. It's like things that I already knew that I had to do for like people that you love. When it comes to the industry, it's like the same thing. It's like you can't expect people to like give you a blessing or like give you their last if you're not loyal, if you're not staying down for the people you love. Everybody watches. You might meet somebody today that's been watching you for 5 years.
Right. You never know who's the secret fan, if that makes sense. Like, you never know who sees you because you don't see them. So I seen a interview that you did a few years back with, I want to say it was Intervision.
Okay, yeah.
And on the interview, you stated that some advice you give to cats coming into the game would be remaining loyal. Can you kind of, give us a little insight on what you mean by that?
Like I said, a lot of people, like today, like for instance, like you can meet me today and I have nothing that not to say nothing, but it's like whatever you have going on, I probably can't benefit it like as much as you would need somebody else that what you're looking for. But I can, a month from now, I could meet somebody, or I could start a whole company that is exactly what you're doing. And because you didn't really been loyal to me or you didn't fuck with me, I don't think of you. So a lot of times people think that, okay, I met somebody that works at the restaurant. So it's like, I'm not talking to him, or I'm not treating him, like he's telling me he likes music, but I'm not like letting him, like sending him no new music, or I'm not like telling him like, yo, I'm at the studio, none of that. And then 3 months from now, he's an exec at a label. People think it's like it takes history to get jobs. It don't take history. It take like networking or finding that right artist that blows up, and it's like, yo, you developed that.
I think the game is about opportunity.
It's with anything. Like you can meet somebody that when you walk out of here today, that literally, like, if we were on a low level, say we needed a job, we walked out of here today and cut somebody off, and then they're the manager, they're the person that's you got to interview with at the interview you got to do next week.
Now you ducking and shit at the red light.
You got me? So it's like, you never know what people become. So it's like, loyalty means a lot because it's like, it's discipline. To be loyal, you have to have discipline.
What artists did you listen to that really inspired your flow, your cadence?
Artists that inspired me was more like things that I listened to was like, I listened to 50 a lot. And it was really just because like they life situations. I listened to Cole a lot. And who can I say? Fab. I obviously say Fab.
I
so
love
it's like
Fab.
For different situations. Like I related to Fab because I just like, I like this fashion. I like this wordplay. So I was like, yo, that's fire. 50, I related to him because it's like he was like more of a person that was like on his grind. Like, you got me. He didn't have his mom around. Like, he was just like, yo, I got to get things done. And Cole, I related to him because it's like, of like the stories he told about like things his mom went through, like, you feel me, like domestic abuse, like watching your mom have to deal with shit, trying to, stuff like that. It's like I was always a person that I have to relate to what's going on. Like, I don't know if it's real or not, but I just know like, yo, you told a story that I'm like, yo, that's the way it really goes down.
Right.
Because I seen it. it's in my house. Like, you know what I mean?
Being relatable and telling and storytelling, that's how people really touch you with music. So how do you come across to your fans like that? You're yourself on the mic?
I'm always myself on a mic, and it's like I said, I'm also a songwriter, so it's like I deal with so much life situations, good and bad, to the point where like I can always like you can tell me like something that happened to you today, and I can really tap into like, yo, I know how you feel. And people be like, you don't know how I feel. Like, you never lost. I did lose somebody. You don't know how I feel. I did do that. Like, I'm young, but at the same time, I'm probably
Been through shit.
like good and bad. So it's like a lot of people like tell you like, oh, I've been through a lot of bad shit. No, I've been through a lot of good shit and a lot of bad shit. Like, you got me? It's I think it's like it's balanced.
I think the best people go through shit in their life because they have a story. You have something to look forward to, and you're going to stay positive because you weren't where you were yesterday.
Exactly.
I listened to a few of your tracks, and you have a very, like, trap beat to you. Is it drill? Technically, what would it be?
Drill. I wouldn't say it's drill. I say it's more like it's like me catering to like wanting to like storytelling on an up tempo beat. You got me? It's like a lot of people need like the slow, the things that like people.
Yeah,
can,
that's
like,
why I was like, when you were like, oh, the emotions, I'm like, oh, well, it sounded a little gangster. Yeah, like when I heard it, I was like, it's a little gangster. I don't know about sad.
Because you gotta, it's like being sad. It's like I got sad records. You got me. You gotta tap into those. But it's more like I'm gonna always be up tempo, but telling you the same thing. Like, yo, you better like keep your head up. Like you feel me? Like in and out of like telling people what they want to hear.
Pull your skirt up, B. That's it.
Like you gotta understand, like music, like you can be sad today, but if I go to the studio and then the season outside is not the season to be sad, I'm not making a sad record. Like, it don't matter how sad I am. Like
you figure it the fuck out.
I'm gonna tell you some painful shit in it, but I'm gonna say it like yelling. Like I'm gonna say it like, you know what I mean?
Hey yo, somebody stole my motherfucking bike, but it's alright.
Exactly, you feel me? Something like that in that nature.
Do you have artists that you plan on working with in the near future?
Well, yeah, I feel like I want to work with all the greats.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have nobody that like I tell you, I don't believe the stories, the hypes. Right. So I'm not really one of the people like, oh, I can't talk. I don't want to link with him because I like him, and I'm not with all the politics.
You being Baby and Dirk right now. Fuck it.
Not even
anybody can get a song
right there at the same time. But if you call one of them, a lot of people can't get records for them. Like, you got me?
Yeah.
So it's like it's a lot of politics. But I'm not that artist. I'm like, yo, if I like somebody's story, whatever he has going on in his day to day has nothing to do with me when it comes to music. I'm not doing no business with you. I'm not, if it doesn't hold down to like the moral ethics of like what I believe in. But if it doesn't have nothing to do with me, and it's because so and so don't like so and so, listen, he made great music. Let's make great music.
Mind your business. That's it. Like business and personal should never clash, and it does most of the time. But to me, I'm like, and I've done other episodes where I've touched on this topic, but in a different, aspect. I do clothing brand as well.
Right.
So I've worked with friends, and needless to say, I've been fucked over.
Right.
But you keep it pushing.
Right.
Then, all right, that's how you do business. Cool. But when I see you, I'm going to say what up. My feelings still kind of hurt. I'll keep it pushing, but I'm not going to start beef over it because that was the business aspect of it. So I definitely agree on that. Like, whatever y'all got going on in your personal lives or what you have going on with each other doesn't have anything to do with me, my money, or my craft.
Right.
So if I want to make some music, why not?
Exactly. Nah, and then when you move like that, I guarantee you 90% of the time, I want to say 100, but let's be ethical.
Honest.
90% of the time, the tables turn, and now the same person that did you wrong is gonna need something from you, and you still might help out, but they always have in the back of their head that like, yo, I know what I did to them. Like, you got me? So it's like, when are they gonna give their lick back? Like, you got me? Because you might be that person like, yo, it doesn't even matter, but you can always get your lick back. Just remember that. You got me? Like, tables always turn. Like, you got me? Tables always turn. It's never. I've been on the side of the table being the person that's like got the tables turned on. So I know tables always turn because the tables are not always turn with me being the person like, yo, now I'm in position.
I think karma always 180s. Like,
listen, always, like, regardless if it turns a full 360, tables always turn. It's gonna nudge. I mean, just make sure you're in that same seat and you have that same energy. Like, you got me? Like,
So, what's your ultimate goal in your? I know that you've invested in yourself. Are you your own label?
Yeah.
To clarify before I speak it out.
Yeah, I'm signing myself. Yeah.
And I figured from no investor. What does that mean to you? What's your ultimate goal with it?
My ultimate goal is really like to be a businessman. You got me. I love music. I love everything about it. But it's like
You want to be Jay.
Like, I don't want to be Jay. I really want to be me. But I
yes, but
I know what you meant by that. But like, I respect Jay. I love everything he do. But it's like my vision is like to make great music and take the blessings from that music and create other opportunities for everything other people have going on. You know how like some people like they get money and then like they sign other artists. I want to sign other artists, but I want to create other things that people want to go on. So if you have something going on that has nothing to do with music, I want to create something to sign you to that. You got me? Okay. So it's like I want to just create all like opportunities. Like,
you're gonna create your own UPS,
exactly.
Right?
Like
they call it TPS.
You got me, the shipping service. You feel me? No, shout out to them. You heard? You know.
Shout out to UPS. We're running it back. Fuck it.
The packs came in and out. You know the vibes. Shout out to them. But yeah, definitely, I want to just create opportunity. You know, like opportunity.
Be a household name, essentially.
Yeah, like regardless if people know it's me or I didn't do it. It's a lot of stuff that I do in the city today. Like I'm not from I currently live in Orlando, Florida. I'm not from there. But it's a lot of stuff I do in Orlando, Florida, like that people that's from here, that's lost lives here, that don't do. So it's not really about like a household name. It's about just like doing something. So when I go out and when I die and when I get to the point where it's like
your life meant something,
it's like, yo, I know what I did. I'm not gonna be that person that's like, well, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, if I would have had this, I would have did that. Well, whatever I have, I'm gonna do exactly what I want to do to the amount that I could do it. Yeah.
A lot of your inspirations come from northern rappers. Are you from up north?
No. I'm actually from down south. It's from Florida.
Okay. So why you don't rap like Boosie?
I mean, I looked up to a lot of people. Like, I mean, you got me. It's like the list could go on because I'm like, when you're a music head, a lot of people that like certain people that just like their music. I'm a music person, so it was more like if I could relate to you. So like a lot of your music I listened to. I was around friends that liked you too. So I listened to your music, but I didn't really relate to it. So it's like different times in my life, I could tell you different artists
that you've related to.
The artists I named was just at the beginning when it was like, yo, what should I talk about? I'm like, oh, he's talking about this, so I should talk about that because I been through that. I was always the person that thought like, yo, you can only talk about what you've been through. You got me. You can't really story tell, and you can't really like talk about somebody
21 Savage would, argue that.
I mean, we're in 2021 now, so like, and now that I'm a songwriter and I've written songs for other people and other artists that are doing well, I'm like, okay, it's easy to tap into what they got going on. You just have to understand what they have going on. So
put yourself in their shoes.
I get music now, but when we were first starting, I was just like, yo, I only like music that I relate to because I can talk about the same thing.
So you picked artists that you definitely relate to. Have you ever had any awkward experiences with artists?
Awkward experience.
Where you're like, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. No, I'm kidding. Nah, but like just awkward in general. Like
awkward. I wouldn't say
they was
awkward.
picking their boogers while you was talking to them. I don't know. Something.
Nah, awkward. I wouldn't say awkward. It's just like I wouldn't say awkward at all. Like
so awkward, yes.
Because I think like when you actually meet somebody, because everybody can have like the perception of somebody online. So it's like when you actually meet them, it's not awkward. It's just it might be that 2-3 seconds of like, I ain't expect that. Like,
right.
You got me? So, but it ain't awkward because it's like, I know people ain't what it is online. You know what I mean? So a lot of people like get let down or like, you be like, damn, that was my role model and this nigga not doing what he, But I don't let me down. It's more like a, damn, Instagram for real. Like, it ain't really real. Like,
that's literally That's what happens to me a lot of the time. I meet people, like I even have friendships that I've built on Instagram. I don't know if you're the same way. Technically, that's where we at. Yeah. But a lot of the times people have this Instagram persona, and then when you meet them, they're a whole different person. It's weird to me. Right. So I know that a lot of your stuff was backed by like media and marketing because I seen you back in the day at Cleo's. Everybody had your little, hood truth, or dope hood. I'm sorry. Yeah. But what has your experience been with that? Like, what has social media done for you? What's your or not done for you, or made you kind of realize you need this shit or you don't need this shit?
I've had mixed emotions with social media.
Same.
Because like I understand like that's a free world. You can tap into people that's nowhere near you. But at the same time, I feel like without even trying, like the person that I guess I got to be honest, right? The person that people see me on as Instagram, I don't think that's really who I am.
I didn't even know you wore glasses. No, I'm kidding.
I don't. This Cartier frames, not prescription. We here.
Listen to something.
We don't need the logo to stunt. You feel me? Cartier frames without the logo. It's on the side. Real money.
Let me read it.
Real money side. You see, official tissue. But at the same time, like I was saying, like because of like on Instagram, like when I actually meet somebody, I'm like, yo, I thought you was totally different. And I'm like, yo, I swear on everything I love. I don't try to put on an image. I literally just post pictures and I talk like shit. Like
let me tell y'all, he dead ignored me for almost a week.
No,
I had to call like 3 or 4 people to get a hold of his ass. So
don't do that. Yo, you know how? Listen, we all know Instagram, and all know like that request folder, and we all know like. And to be honest, like all speaking. It's like I check my request folder because there's not a million people in there. It's probably like 20, 30 messages in the request folder. And I literally look at them and it's either people asking. I do a lot of giveaways.
I changed my picture. I do clickbait pictures a lot of times and I change it.
But you got to understand, today in 2021, even the fake pages have a good picture.
Right.
You got me? So it's like
public.
the picture is not what I'm looking at. I don't even click on to go to the profile. With me, it's more of like what the message says.
Right.
So it's like if I see like I'm a marketing, I'm not clicking on that because I feel like you just want some bread.
Figure it out. When you went from, did you do music and then your clothes, or because now we talking about if you fast pacing in your career, you did music and then clothes, or did you do clothes and then your music, or did you do it simultaneously when you started both? What really kicked you off with that?
With the clothes thing, to be honest, is like I said, I was always a person that like was into like marketing and figuring out other ways to like create revenue to like push what I wanted to do, whether it was working a 9 to 5 or doing anything else. I was like, yo, I'm only doing this because I want to do this.
Right, so that's why I mentioned the marketing, because I seen, just so y'all know, I did my motherfucking research. I'm a Googler. I went on YouTube, I went all that shit, and I was like, I found out his real name. I'm still not going to say it, but I went to 2015.
Okay.
I want to say, I want to mark it and say, I really remember. 2015, you did an event at Cleo's.
Okay, yep.
You performed. I seen you on stage. I seen the asses out.
Right.
All so that really, right, exactly. What really caught my eye was you had a handful of people walk past on the camera of you performing, and they all had dope hood.
Right.
So that's a great marketing tactic, because the first thing I thought was, what the hell is dope hood? And then when I watched your other interview, I seen that you had dopehood.com. Right. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Right. So marketing is definitely up your alley.
You have to create other ways for people to like, yo, let me check into what he had to do. So with the clothing and everything, it really just started like me trying to, like I said, promote my music. So I was like creating little slogans like, I love listening to lies when I know the truth, like, or things like that. So it's like, and then I created like No Investor. It was like, yo, let's talk about, and No Investor on the shirt came from me trying to figure out a name for my project. At the time I was like about to drop an EP, and I'm like, yo, what I want to name this, whatever like that. And everybody was telling me names. It was like, yo, like, bro, you do everything by yourself, bro. Like, no handouts. Like, bro, you got a manager? Like, no manager. And I'm like,
nah, not no manager.
Everybody was saying things like that, and I'm like, man, like, and then somebody was like, yeah, no investments, like, no investments. And I'm like, man, I ain't got no investor, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, no investor. Like, let me name my project that. So I named my project that, and so with me, gotta market things right. So as soon as I knew that was my project, I'm like, yo, I gotta put that on some shirts. So I was like, No Investor with my name underneath it. It was like No Investor, Dope Truth, or whatever like that. So I dropped it with the project. Boom, people liked it. It was like, oh, this is cool. But at the same time, it was only my fans, like people that really supported me, that would have the merch because they had my name was on it. So then I thought about to myself, I'm like, yo, when I go to the store, I'm like, I don't buy a Kodak shirt that says Kodak unless like free Kodak, and I love Kodak. We Asian, same culture, but I wouldn't buy a shirt that just said his name on it.
Right.
Or a Young Boy. I listen to his music too, but I wouldn't buy a Young Boy that just said Young Boy. Like, just men don't wear other men's name on their shirts. Like,
I think it's just people.
Yeah, it's just like, it ain't like, I don't know what it is. It's just like, one of those things. So then I was like, yo, man, take your name off the shirt. So I had no investor. Then I was like, yo, what I want to put underneath it, because it just looked like something had to be underneath it, because I was just so accustomed to dope truth. So I was like, no investor, no investor. Self-made. Self-made. Boom. I put no investor, self-made. And then my sales went from like 20 to 50, 50 to 100. You got me? It was just like, and I realized, yo, because people are supporting me, but it's because it relates to them. It brings me back to the music. People are like, yo, I don't have no investor for whatever I got going on. I had to do it alone for whatever I got going on. They're not even thinking about me when they buy the shirt.
They're thinking about themselves.
Like, I'm wearing this because this is what I stand for. Like, this is, I believe in it. It's just like wearing a shirt that says, let's get high, just because you smoke. Like, you know, or wearing weed socks just because you smoke. Like, that era. You know, where everybody was just like, yo, I want to wear weed socks.
I'm like, I'll still wear my little weed socks to sleep.
You got me? So it's like, if you see a shirt that says what you have going on, F my boss, or fuck my boss, or I'm a hoe, like whatever the shirt says.
I don't know about that. I'm a hoe.
Some people, some shirts,
yo,
I've seen
you
females,
took it left.
I've seen some females wear that shirt. Like,
when?
You feel me? Listen.
He got one in the closet. Just so y'all know, he got one in the closet.
Listen. I'm a little toxic. I'm a little toxic. The 3-letter word, you know, I'll never call myself that. You feel me? But at the same time, that's what I mean. It was always about marketing. So it was like, I took my name off it and everybody just ran to it. No investor. Self-made. Let's get it.
So for you, do you create all of your designs?
No, I don't create all my designs. Like, well, they're like thought on ideas. Like, I'm like, I got an idea, and I got a close friend of mine. Shout out Paint Boy Gav. Like, he does a lot of my stuff.
Period. I know Gavin.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah,
like,
I fuck with him.
Family for life. But anyways, like, I'll tell him, I'm like, yo, bro, like,
this is what I want. Make it happen.
He'll literally be like, bro, I ain't got to listen, bro. Like, listen, you and your imagination. He'll tell you that, because I still tell him, I'm like, yo, bro, like, you know how like da 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 da. He be like, yo. Bro,
he's definitely done that shit to me. I literally like started an order with him and he said, you already sound annoying. I said, bitch, do you say this to everyone you know?
It's because he's so creative himself. He really wants you to tell you an idea and let him do what he want to do. Mm-hmm. So then when you get accustomed to that and being comfortable, it's like, oh, okay, all right, bro. Just all right. So it's like me, I was so like, yo, bro, I got a whole vision. He's like, yo, I'm not even going to do that because I know exactly what I do. You're going to be like, that's not what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is. With people that's creative, you have to let them be creative. And when you learn that, like even with somebody, when I songwrite and people tell me like, yo, I want something that sounds like this. I'm like, all right, cool. But it's like, you got to let somebody be creative. Tell them what you got going on and let them go create. When you tell them like, yo, I want it to sound exactly like this. Or it's like, you put them in a box to where it's like,
they got to press to do that. I
would have did something so left. And would have been crazy, but you told me this. Now I'm thinking about only that. You got me? So it's like you gotta let creative people be creative. So
you never know what could come out of that too. Like when you let them do their own thing, something better might flourish, and then you're like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Right. Do you have any projects that you're working on in the near future?
Yeah, I'm working on a project right now.
Let us know all the fuck about it. We want the tea.
Yeah, nah, definitely. Right. The project I'm working on right now is just like. It's the growth. It's because, like, I've grown so much doing music, and I find myself at a position now where it's, like, I love the way I sound. Mm-hmm. So it's, like, instead of, like, putting out a body of work where it's, like better than my last, but just not great, it's, like, I found myself, like, just mastering everything. But I'm telling you, all the music that I've been creating is just, like, it's at a level where, like, I never thought that I would get to. You got me? Because, you know, like, the first song I recorded, I thought it was cool. Like, you got me? So it's like...
I was going to say, you sound like you don't sound completely different. I won't say that. Mm-hmm. But you definitely, I could see the change in a good way of where your music went from where it started.
Exactly. And that's what I could also say. It's like, I'm a person, that's why I leave all that online. A lot of artists you meet, you might just see that they just dropped the song last month and nothing else. I left all the music that I had when I like was figuring it out up to show the growth and to still tell the stories. Because like I said, I'm not talking about anything that I didn't go through. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you really want to know me, you have to go listen to that first project and then listen to the last one. You're going to be like,
this is who he is now.
Is that the same person? Like, bro, like you wasn't even on beat. Like what? But if you really listen to the shit, like you get through it, you're going to be like, oh, wow. Like, okay, like. I see what he's talking about because I still bring it up today, but it's like how I feel about it today versus how I felt about it then. So it's like, that's why I love music so much, because it shows growth, it shows wisdom, it shows like actually who a person really is, like throughout all the like, you know.
All the bullshit you go through.
Right.
What would you, Okay, so I'm like, let me tap into what you've said before. I know that you've mentioned there's a difference between switching up and changing.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean? Like,
Switch.
what's a switch up and what's a change? Do you
Okay.
feel like you switched up or do you feel like you changed? And I know the answer, but
Okay, well, the difference between switching up and difference between changing, switching up is like someone you showing somebody that your values, you showing somebody what you bring to the table, them showing you the same thing, vice versa, and then you been like, I don't want to deal with it.
right.
That's switching up versus whether it's relationship or versus it's a friend. You like, yo, I know you as a friend, you know me as a friend, and then I get to a point where I'm like, I don't want to deal
Fuck
with
'em.
it. Like, that's really switching up.
Yeah.
People think like, oh no, like I'm at another point in my life and I just can't have that around. You still switched up. It could be switching up, could be for the better, it could be for the bad, but I just don't believe in switching up. If you ask me, I changed. And changing is really evolving. It could be good, it could be it could be bad. So changing is more like, it's like understanding what you want out of life and understanding what needs to be done to do it. You got me? So it's like we all work towards something. Like, I'm an artist, so like I want Grammys, I want billboards, plaques, all that, right?
You got to move in that way.
Exactly. I can't expect me to do what I'm doing now that's not getting that and think that that's
You're
what's
gonna
gonna
get
happen.
there, yeah.
So I feel like I have to change into that person. So that's what I mean by the difference between switching and changing. Changing is always for like evolving to the better. You know what I mean? So if somebody acting different, they switched up. You feel
I
me?
think there's always progress and change. And like you said, if you want to get to Billboard status, if you want to get to Grammy status, you have to change. Like, there's no shade. I love them to death. I really do. Definitely a lot of Florida anthems, but Kodak, he's a prime example of you can be who you are and have so much success, but if your mindset is still where you were, it could be your downfall in certain ways. And I won't say, I think that I don't know exactly what he's on right now.
Right.
It be on and off, but the fact of like, you can't still hang out in the hood and like make shit shake. You can't get to that Grammy. You can't get to that position truly
Right.
if you don't kind of switch it up. But then people, or not switch it up, change. I'm sorry. People look at it like, okay, well, if you turn around and you're not in the hood no more, you're not real.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
why? Why is that an argument? Because if I got money, why would I still hang out in the hood? And it's not that you don't love the hood. It's that I'm going to bring a school here. I'm going to bring a grocery store here. I'm going to bring a clothing store here. I'm going to make it pop. Like Nipsey got the whole, what is that called? Not a, like a shop mall type of thing.
Duplex.
Like a duplex,
whatever.
yeah. And
Shopping
that's
center.
Opportunity. Money for people who don't have jobs. He created opportunity. So, yeah, but it also became not a downfall. I will not say that. But at the same time, we know what happened. We lost him to that. So I think that people don't understand the idea of change. Like, okay, when your life elevates, you have to elevate with your life.
No,
you can't
absolutely.
stay in the same spot that you were before. So
Absolutely.
with you, do you still, do people from back in the day, wherever your hood is, like, do they say, oh, you switched up because you don't hang out no more?
No, I wouldn't say that. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm not in them private conversations. Never want to be in them private conversations. But at the same time, I feel like it's more like a lot of people's situations different. Like, I don't speak on another man's life or whatever like that. But like, for the example, you use Kodak. I feel like for him, it's not really him changing himself. I feel like throughout the situations and things that he's been through, internally, he knows what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. It really becomes the people around you. It's like who you accept around you to influence you. Because you could be like, I could know the world, but if the person I'm next to has a carefree lifestyle, doesn't care about anything,
That's where you at.
that's how you just become, like, it just happens, like, regardless if you want it to or not. So it's like a lot of times you have to switch up on the people around you to get the change you want. Like, it's deep, it's fucked up, it's complicated, it's all that extra stuff. But at the same time, you have the people like that genuinely love you. They won't see you as switching up.
They'll
know
see
you
that you make
switched
it
up
better, yeah.
because you had to do that. But they'll be like, "Yo, I know what he's trying to do because what he's about to do for us, like for the bigger picture. Because I know he loved me. I know that's my brother. Like, you got me. So like, it becomes that. A lot of people have so much like internal conflict with themselves, or they have a goal they're trying to reach. They don't think about
You. Or
at
your
all.
goals.
They're
Yeah.
like, yo, listen, I want this. I want him to act like this right now because I need him to be this so I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like, you be like, yo, I don't want to do that because I know he need me. I don't want to do that because I know he. But there's a way for everything to work how it needs to work when it needs to work. Like, I believe everything happens for a reason. Like, nothing. Like, sometimes certain situations happen in life that can shift things that are supposed to happen. But everything that happens is for a reason.
I think the quote when people say like you're only as strong as your team or you're only as strong as your weakest link, it's true. You know, you got to keep people around you that want better, not just for themselves, but for you as well. Because when you need to switch up and you need to change and you need to, you know, put yourself in a different spot, they're going to always be there for you.
Right.
So definitely a solid team. Thank you so much for stopping in for the episode.
Shout out to her. Great interview. I love your energy.
Thank
I wish
you.
you blessings and nothing but, you know.
Tell the people how they can stream your music, how they can follow you.
Listen.
His Twitter is not funny. I actually did go and look, so I will say the Twitter's mid. But the Instagram's popping. The Instagram popping, but the Twitter mid.
Instagram exotic. You know, you heard Twitter is a little Arizona. A little
it's a little mid, you know, along the way.
You can check me out. You feel me? I'm going to act like I'm a point down here or some shit. But, you know, at Dope Truth, DOPETRUTH, Dope Truth. On Instagram, Twitter, it's _Dope Truth. Snapchat, it's the same thing, all extras. Also, the clothing line is noinvestor.com, not .net, not .org, not whatever other people be talking about. .com, what you used to, noinvestor.com. Check it with me. Follow the movement. Let me know what you got going on. If I can help it, let's make something shake. You know, let's create history.
That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Sorry If I Offend You. And like I always say, if you're mad at what I'm talking about, fuck you.
Yep.
All
Sorry.
right.